My name is Tarmack, and this is my review of the retail release of Superhot. Superhot is a hell of a lot of fun right from the get-go. It started out as a Kickstarter that raised $250,000 back in May 2014. The premise of the game is a unique mechanic where time moves normally when you move, but is bullet time slow when you don't move. This lets you plan out moves in advance in kind of a Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock sort of way. I'm going to shoot him, spin a 180, throw my gun at the guy behind me, grab the bottle next to him and throw at the guy standing further back, dodge the shotgun blast from the guy to my left, charge in and punch him before he can shoot again and kill him with the shotgun that he just dropped. It's developed by the Superhot team, cue the groan. The game released on Steam February 25th with a launch price of $25 US. Every level is designed with this concept of time in mind. You have weapons like a pistol, shotgun, or assault rifle, a bat, a katana, a number of objects that you can just pick up and throw, but you always need to keep in mind that around the next corner, or possibly materializing behind you, will be more red, faceless enemies to deal with. Every target, yourself included, has but a single hit point from attacks from weapons, and NPCs can take a few hits from things like punches or objects being thrown. So you really do need to plan your attacks well and observe the surroundings to know whether you're safe on one side or maybe exposed. A single shot hitting you means having to do the level over again. And without spoiling the plot of the game, and there is a plot, you'll also gain the ability to possess enemies later on in the game's main campaign. The levels are small, but that suits the gameplay style because everything is meant to be occurring so quickly. You might spend a few minutes in each level positioning yourself just right, doing the throws, shooting a few times, swinging a bat, etc., only to see a sped up version after you've succeeded that has you pulling some wacky Matrix-style moves in real time where the level itself really takes only maybe 10 seconds to play back. Those are the positives. Unfortunately, the game also has some problems. I'll start with my biggest one. If you've played Portal, you know how well a storyline involving some degree of interaction with a computer can be done. The GLaDOS audio lines impart so much story and character, but all without taking you out of the game. Superhot has none of that. Every piece of story is delivered by text and with an old-style DOS font UI. To make matters worse, you're pulled out of the already short stages after nearly every single level in order to experience more of this story. So, if you're like me, absolutely loved the FPS gameplay to the point where you kind of want to put this on the front runners of a top 10 list for the end of the year, but detest the story portion that keeps coming back to hit you time after time after time, well, you can imagine how frustrating a game experience that would be. In fact, I think it's safe to say that playing through the base campaign, which only takes about 2 hours, you'll spend more time experiencing the story than you will actually playing the FPS segments. Every time a level ended, I just began to dread the inevitable storyline, which did not engage me at all. There is one element that I simply have to talk about that could, I suppose, be a spoiler, but you realize it and deal with it within the first 10 minutes of the gameplay. And it's hardly a surprise. This is another self-aware game in a similar vein to something like Undertale or Pony Island. However, in my opinion, it doesn't have the same charm or cleverness. You have access to a number of side programs within what is essentially a retro operating system UI. There's a bunch of intentionally odd and unassuming, almost applications, and of course the usual graphics and audio options mixed in there as well. My problem is that I'm already tired of the self-aware game gimmick, or maybe I was just so frustrated by constantly being pulled out of and away from the part of the game that I was absolutely loving that I'm taking it out on the self-aware bit, but it just didn't impress me at all. Now, all of that said, it seems clear to me, based on a few features that unlock after you finish the 2-hour campaign, that the devs may be focusing more on the game as a community platform of sorts. Not platform as in DLC or microtransaction platform, but one where the community gets involved for content somehow. At the end of the campaign, you unlock Endless Mode, a level selector, and challenges. Challenges are things like picking a level and beating it using only a katana, for example, or doing speedruns, those sorts of things. Endless Mode is as you would expect. It's a horde mode with endless waves. And the level selector lets you go back through the base game and do levels as you choose, all without that pesky story getting in the way of the fun. This I'm okay with, and I expect I'll spend even more time with Superhot because I love the time mechanic. Given my perception that they're looking for more community sharing, I'm kind of in disbelief that the game doesn't have a level editor, a proper level editor, or at least whatever side scripting tools that the devs used, as it's built in Unity, would be an immense addition to this title. I hope the devs put one together. On the topic of options and performance, the game runs at a crystal clear and smooth 60 frames per second and doesn't even spin up the fans on a GTX 970. Given that it has essentially no textures, I'd expect nothing less. I did run into a bit of an issue with the swap between windowed and full screen mode, however. In full screen mode, it wouldn't let me select which monitor to use, so if you have a multiple monitor setup, you may want to stick to windowed mode in this particular game. So what's the conclusion? I desperately want to be able to recommend Superhot. The main mechanic of the game is so much fun. There are a few things getting in the way of me being able to do so, however. For starters, the self-aware game gimmick feels poorly done. As a result, it's very easy to feel like you have to force-feed yourself the main campaign instead of playing through and enjoying it. Then the game opens up nicely and you can do all kinds of different challenges and whatnot, which is great. I also feel that a game like this, which is ultimately reasonably content light, should have a level editor. Come on guys, you built such a great concept. The included game modes and base game mechanic is so good, but the rest of the content is a bit lacking. Let the community make levels, let them make new guns. Imagine a slow motion bow and arrow or rocket launcher. And finally, we gotta talk about the price. $25 US with a 10% launch promo for the first week is kinda expensive for what this game has to offer. So, I'm going to recommend it with a caveat. If you like the idea of redoing levels over and over to kill things in specific ways or complete challenges, if you like challenging yourself in a horde mode, if you like sharing your unique kills and videos online, then this game can be worth the money. If you answered no to any of those, or you're more interested in just a campaign or story mode, I'd wait for a deeper sale. My name is Tarmack. Thank you for checking out my review of Superhot. Links to where you can buy the game are in the description. All the footage in this video was recorded on PC, and you'll find the PC specs in the description below as well. If you found the review helpful, hit that subscribe button, and if you feel up to sharing it on Reddit or social media to help the channel out, I won't hold it against you. Thanks for watching. Cheers.